All right, it's time for your Wednesday Wellness Wake Up with Dr. Sharon Ufberg, brought to you by the Napa County Chiropractic Association. Good morning, Dr. Sharon. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Kelly. It's a great day to be alive in Napa Valley.
Always. So this is really interesting to me. So we are going to check out our house.
Yeah, I really thought it's important for people to figure out, how healthy is their home. I like to tell people to look at their house like they're bringing in a newborn baby, because you wouldn't want to, put a newborn baby in a bathtub that was full of cleansers,
chemicals.
You wouldn't want to put a baby on a carpet that had lots of toxins, So
Right.
Let's go kind of room to room and look around. I mean, to start with, I think people have to remember that nowadays our house is much better insulated, which is good for keeping your energy bill down when you want to keep the warm air in.
Right.
But it really then prevents a lot of the air to circulate. So you've got a lot of static air. What people are finding is, and what the studies are showing, is that there's more air pollution inside the home than outside.
That's not good.
No. So, I think one of the things that's really shocked me was that, there's been studies that shows the amount of indoor air pollution in the U.S. is 50%, worse. Like illnesses caused by air pollution, is something that really happens from inside your house, not necessarily outside your house.
But it's something we can fix.
I think it's something we can really help. I mean, what happens is, there's been so many more chemicals put into, our world.
Right.
Especially post-World War II. There's just been thousands and thousands of more chemicals added to every aspect of our lives, and they collect and accumulate, and that ends up being a human health hazard. So what I want to do is let's go room to room, see where we may be able to make some changes. Generally, household cleaners of any kind, you really want to begin to look for non-toxic cleaners.
Sure.
So, I don't know, when you think about all the cleansers, glass cleaners, things that
Tons,
tub and
right.
tile, floor, these are all the things that you can really begin to change over. The next time your, detergent runs out, try to get a non-toxic detergent. The amount of things that we put on our bodies, look at your dry cleaning. Many people use dry cleaning every day. Apparently, when you bring in dry cleaning into your home and put it in your closet, when they measure people's breath, they can still register chemicals from the dry cleaning solutions up to 48 hours
And there are some dry cleaning companies that have more natural products. You can look for that.
Yes, you definitely can. But, so what people should do is when they bring their dry cleaning home, don't stick it in the plastic bag in between the rest of their clothes in their closet and shut their closet door. They should really be airing out the clothes. Take off the plastic.
Okay.
Hang it up in a place that's well ventilated. I think we have to really, you want to do something, you want to make a improvement in your home, get screens for your windows and keep your windows open and really begin to ventilate.
So that fresh air is
because it helps move things around. We don't realize that when we spray air fresheners, right, those things are full.
I don't use those.
Right. A lot of people don't. And now, you really, even in your conventional supermarket, you can find air fresheners that are non-aerosol and that just spray essential, aromatic
essential oils. Yeah, not all the chemicals. A lot of them have horrible chemicals in them.
Right. So citrus oil kind of thing that really does help the smell. So, so let's talk about the kitchen first.
Okay.
People spend a lot of time in the kitchen. And I think, if you go in your kitchen, you look around, the first thing you want to do is you make sure you get rid of any plastic storage.
I have tons of Tupperware type products, plastic.
Right.
I put my leftovers in them. The kids use them to put their stuff to take to school, little lunches. And
it's really not good.
So what if you're not cooking or microwaving in them? They still
especially if you reuse them over and over again to you're washing them either in a hot dishwasher or you're using hot water, that actually leaches out the chemicals over time. Now, you can find non-BPA plastics, but it's not readily available. And I really recommend people trying to just, as as they age, you get rid of them and switch to glass.
Because you can find some glass containers with a little, is it a plastic lid okay?
Well, I think the plastic lid doesn't come in as much contact with the food normally.
It's just covering
it. And usually those, when people spend the time to create glass storage units, they're using a healthier plastic on top. So I mean, I would say that to start with, try to really begin to replace that.
Okay.
If you're using any kind of dishwashing liquid, soap, you really want to try to switch over to a green product. Anything that you're using to clean off your cabinets, your cupboards, your glass countertops, your stainless steel, all these things over time they accumulate. So you really want to begin to switch those out a bit. The bathroom, I think because people really associate bathroom as being a place where there's like dirt, you don't want
it's very dirty.
Yeah, so you really use very harsh chemicals, or
like bleach or something.
Right, you get ammonia, you get lots of right. People want their shower to look clean, so they use very harsh products.
Right.
There's lots of things coming out on the market now where you can use non-toxic chemicals or natural solutions to not use some of these harsh chemicals, and still, I think you can replace some of those harsher chemicals to get rid of your hard water stains with citric acid. There's definitely products on the market now that you can switch it up.
People ask, well, does it really work?
Apparently, it really does work. There's huge amounts of companies coming out now that has spent a lot of money to create products that are healthy for the environment and healthy for you. And there's always this, this emphasis on the environment, but by dumping tons of toxic chemicals into products that is bad for the environment, well, what do you think it's doing to human
You're
health?
Breathing it, you're touching it, it's getting into your skin, and
exactly.
I was told that your immune system has to fight that off. So if your immune system is fighting off all these chemicals in your home, then you're actually more susceptible to getting sick because your immune system's, fighting off all these chemicals.
You're really reducing the ability for each and every one of your cells to work more efficiently.
Right.
Yeah. So So when we look at the kitchen, I want to make sure I've got everything. Canned foods is another big one. There's been a lot of studies about that lately, about BPA and the idea of canned foods having this BPA that leaches into your food. Now good news, California, just passed just the other day. I saw news that the California legislation, at least the House, passed something that bans BPA in baby bottles, and it's just really, really a positive step for California. It was a landmark study to protect children, and I'm really proud of the California State Assembly.
It's in most cans, right?
It's in most cans and in a lot of baby bottles and other feeding products for children. So you really want to look for those that are BPA free.
Will it say that? I mean, I actually rely on canned foods quite a bit. I like to buy a lot of different kinds of beans for salads, for chilies, and things like that. Being vegetarian, I use the stewed tomatoes.
Right. I know it's troubling.
It's frustrating, yeah.
So I think that you have to try to really reduce the amount that you can make. If you can buy fresh beans and in bulk, you'll do much better. I mean, it's really reducing the general amount of that you use, and obviously there's some products that we can't find in anything but in a can, and so use those and get rid of all the other ones that you have choices to buy fresh.
So try to reduce, because that's do you know, Dr. Sharon, if it would say on the can no BPA?
Oh, perhaps, if you buy something in a health food store or in a place where you're really trying to be conscious about that, it's very possible. I know that the baby bottles and the baby products now are advertising those that don't have the BPA,
that's
which
really
is
crucial.
Which is really important. Anyway, let's keep going. I know we don't have too much time, and I want to get to the house, the rest of the house. So if you go into your your bedroom, your living room, now we're really talking about your furniture, the dust. You can't, lots of products that were made in California, especially after the 70s, that have foam in them, have flame retardants. And this was something the California passed to help reduce people dying in fires. I think the concept was good. The outcome hasn't been so good. What's happened is that there's been lots of studies that these flame retardants are very toxic chemicals. They do leach out, especially as the foam begins to wear out and the furniture gets old. So when you're looking around your house, especially if you have young children, you want to make sure you're vacuuming regularly, you're wiping things down, you're making sure if you do have old furniture, you're beginning to try to replace that as soon as you can. Very scary studies about California children and the amount of toxic the toxicity they have compared to other children based on the idea that these flame retardants were a requirement in all of our furnishings, in our baby seats, in our car seats. So what we thought we were doing a good thing, and they didn't test the chemicals before they used them. Some of them have been banned in the early 2000s, but not all of them. They've been replaced with chemicals, again, that haven't been tested.
I've got furniture that's, from the 90s, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to try to cover those, you really want to try to,
like cover the couch. They have those couch
Yes, right. Try to minimize the amount of that dust that's flying out of that, out of the foam that begins to wear and break down. That's really, it's something that you start looking around and you start feeling like, is everything dangerous? And I'm not trying to tell people that.
But it's good to have the information. It really is. And we can start to make the changes.
Yeah, so your laundry room, again, non-toxic laundry detergents, one of the things they say is that if you use a front-loading washing machine, you're saving a lot of water, which is a good thing, and so as we go from room to room, you start to realize in each room you can really, just some little thing that you do that you begin to change will make a difference. Right. I love the idea of thinking about, how old is my carpet? What kind of, what kind of toxins are sitting there. Apparently there's just an enormous amount of microorganisms in every square foot of carpeting. So places where you don't need carpeting, you can get rid of your carpeting and be able to put a throw rug down that can be replaced more often, that the floor can be cleaned more, especially with young children walking around. Those are things that are easy to do and make a significant difference in kind of the health of your home.
Right.
It's a very scary feeling to think that, when you buy that new car and you think, oh, I love that new car smell, that's really, toxic gassing off of all the leather and vinyl and products. And so, we want to make sure, especially people, having new furniture where you smell that smell, well, you want to make sure your room is ventilated for a while to get rid of some of that. When I think about, the closet, again, I think about, what are we wearing? What's in our clothes? If you're wearing a lot of polyester clothing, you're ending up, you really want to try to stick to cotton. Cotton is especially organic cotton, if you can, that you're going to have the least amount of chemicals. People that do studies and actually measure the amount of toxicity and chemicals on the skin, a lot of it is coming from synthetic clothing as well.
Really? Even after you wash it and everything?
Yes, apparently these, as clothes breaks down, as things are heated and things age, you get this kind of toxic gassing off of.
It's like kind of depressing, but I'm glad to know. And it's like I consider myself to be a very conscious consumer, and I've been on this ever since my children were little itty bitty, but I'm still you're telling me things, I'm like, oh my gosh, but my furniture and my clothes and the kids' clothes and but like you said, you can make changes where you can.
Well, when you've got 10,000 different chemicals that are being found in products,
right, it's hard to get rid of them all, and
and it is, and I think that flame retardants are a whole nother, it's like for a whole nother show, and there's BPA could be a whole show, but the idea is just if we just become more conscious consumers, if we just say, oh, okay, I'm going to choose between this cotton shirt or this polyester shirt, well, maybe I'll get a cotton one for my young child today.
The 70s are over.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love the idea of changing out your different cleaning products. And, don't have to make it all in one day. Just say, okay, I ran out of dish soap. I'm going to go get a natural dish soap next time.
Yeah, and I think people that, got really sucked into this idea of antibacterial, anti-germ, really the American Medical Association is saying, no, you really don't want to use antibacterial products in your home. There are places where an antibacterial product are important, like in a surgical unit, perhaps, but certainly not day to day in your home. We as consumers, we have to keep looking at the labels. What's on the label? What are we wiping down our counters with, and then putting our cutting board on to cut our organic vegetables. Oh, I meant to tell you, I was so happy after our show last time. I made a commitment to go to the farmers market in Napa, and it was just fantastic.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I totally had your list in my mind of the dirtiest, fruits and vegetables, and then the cleanest. And when I went shopping and really kind of focused on that, I don't want to get that. You know what I mean? It was very helpful to me.
It's such a treat to go to the farmer's market. It really is. It really makes you feel healthy. It makes you feel good. You get some fresh air.